Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, this one is, I guess, got from probably the title. I thought of the title while I was thinking of the issue, and that is to choil or not to choil. That is the question. Because what I'm talking about is a finger choil, right? On a lot of knives, you don't have that option. It's there. You've either got a finger choil or you don't, or you've got like an almost choil. This is like it's trying to get the best of both worlds here. And what I'm talking about, I'm wondering is this knife right here. I think would have been better with Sorry, I've got a bunch of knives here because I was trying to figure this out while I was looking at it. Back here is much better, I think, because you're only losing a little bit of your cutting edge, and when you cut, now this is where I'm not so sure about it. I've noticed this when you're cutting, of course, and you're doing a push down cut. When you reach the non-sharpened portion of the edge, of course, it's not going to cut. It's going to stop. And you're going to have to shift back. If you're doing this, you're going to have to shift back. Now, if you're using your finger in the choil, it's going to keep that from happening and push the material up. But then your finger is going to come in contact with whatever you're cutting constantly. As an example, you push this down, and if I didn't have my finger there, it stops. It stops cutting. If you're holding your knife back like this and you don't judge that distance just right, well, with an Azula, with your finger back here, and it all depends on the angle you get also when you're cutting. If you're just doing a 90-degree down push, this is not going to cut as easy as that one. We'll start right here. Oh, when you reach this in, it stops cutting also, but it's just a very small little section. So to me, you have more usable cutting edge if you would eliminate this. The material would still be able to guide down. I mean, I love the buoy shape. I love this and everything. And this is a full-size choil. For me at least, my finger doesn't ever get cut on that. Now, another way of doing it is, kind of like the way a butcher knife is done and stuff like that, is back here, and then you've got all cutting edge. I mean, the only way you would miss coming down is, again, there's always, I've noticed this though, there's always going to be something that's not sharpened down there. That's the ricasso, or whatever you call this portion right here. I think that's the ricasso. Even then, you still have a sharpening choil. It's just a little spot, but if you're cutting a small section of stuff and come down, that section right there is not going to cut, but the rest of the blade will, and you can get through it. If you have a big choil, I'm just going to start in the middle, so I don't lose a finger. And you're coming down, when it hits that portion, it stops. And it's wide enough, for like, this is double wall cardboard. It's wide enough to stop it from cutting if you're holding it back here. Now, if you're holding it up here, you're going to feel your fingers hitting it, and you can just pull back a little bit and know that you still got an edge. I don't know if this is really a big issue or not. I guess it's just a personal preference thing, because again, you have this on every knife that I can find. Even Kiradashi. Look at that. a big non-sharpened area here. Um, because I guess you don't want right next to your finger usually the super sharpest point if you're cutting stuff. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Get this guy out. So right here you've got kind of a combination. You can put your finger here. If you try to put it up here, you're going to help guide this stuff, but you're close to the edge. But look, here's another section. It's not much. I guess it depends on the width of it. That's not going to cut anything if you're doing a push down cut. And a lot of people don't do that. They do a slice cut, or you can just modify your technique. But every time if I'm using this one and I'm going to do a push down cut, I just naturally put my finger right in there, and it works out. So I don't know. It's not really an issue or anything. It's just a curiosity thing that I noticed. I'm like with the Essie, you can get an SE4, the regular way. And then they got one that they call HM, or handle modification. But you know what? It's not just the handle. They eliminate that choil. They eliminate the choil, the finger choil up here. And it just turns into a little sharpening notch. But still, it's more than just a handle that's modified in that situation. The blade is. And I guess it depends on all depends on what you're cutting and how you're cutting it. If you're doing let's say you're skinning an animal, whatever, and you're trying to separate the hide, you're probably not going to come back here a whole lot unless you're doing cutting a whole big section out. It's been a long time since I've skinned any animals, but I did it. I've done it before. And again, with cutting, most of my cutting a lot of times is just cardboard and stuff like that. And I'm not using the whole blade. I mean, that's why a lot of times you can get away with a smaller blade carrying it if you notice what you're cutting. If it's something long or if it's a tedious task, you want to have a full handle. And this guy is still fairly sharp. Even I'm thinking about another thing that you can do to increase your cutting ability of a knife a lot of times is to sharpen it. The first time you sharpen it, no matter how sharp that is, a lot of times you're going to get a better angle for what you're intending to do. Like if you want super sharpness, which again, that's not always the best thing, because a super sharp edge depends on the steel and everything, but you're thinning out the behind the edge thickness, which a lot of people think, that's great, it's going to be super sharp. Yes, it is. Just like a razor blade. A razor blade is really sharp for a little while, and then bam, it gets dull. And you have to replace the whole thing, because it's so thin. You just get another razor blade. With a knife with a really laid back angle, like 17 degrees or 15 degrees or whatever, you're really starting to lay that edge back out there and expose a lot of thin metal. And I don't care what it's made of or how well it's tempered. The thinner the metal is behind the edge, the easier it's going to be to mess it up. It's just nature, physics. That's just the way things work. No super steel is going to save you from that. A super steel that can resist, it's got a lot of hardness there. And I'm getting out of my league here, so just keep that in mind here. I'm getting beyond my depth, but usually there's strongness, there's toughness and stuff like that, and there are two different terms and everything. The toughness is like the ability to resist impact, and strongness is like the ability to resist wear. I don't know. But the tougher you make a knife, the more the edge should be able to maintain its integrity under stress. That's my belief. If I'm wrong, go ahead and correct me, but that's the way it is. Oh, also another thing as far as like comments, I left that one where the guys left a negative comment And I said, if you're just going to be vague like that and say you need to improve your presentation, um, go elsewhere. Leave your comments elsewhere. I gave that guy a week to respond to that. I didn't block him or anything. He didn't respond. So now he's blocked, because this is my channel. It's up to me what goes up on. It's like somebody coming up and spray painting on your wall, eat crap or whatever. And you're supposed to look at that every day? I don't have to look at that. And it's not that I can't take criticism, constructive criticism. Somebody else put a comment up there and said, oh, well, if you can't take negative comments, you don't need to be on YouTube. Womp womp. You know what? That comment is gone too. Because I know how to take negative comments and stuff, but it's all in what did you convey? Oh, Mr. Smarty Pants there, who probably doesn't have a channel of his own, is going to sit there and tell me that I need to be an adult and grow up and not be worried about it and all that other stuff. Great for you. You know what you can do with that? So again, if you're civilized and you have something to say and everything, and you can say it in a constructive way, then your comment's going to stay up there. But if it isn't, hey, guess what? You don't get to say, this is not freedom of speech here, because I'm not going to allow just anything to be up on my channel. If you want to do that way on your channel, go ahead. You can do better on everything, go do it. But these trolls and stuff, I'm not going to put up with them. Yeah, you may get less comments and, ultimately maybe less interaction, but I don't care. I don't care what the algorithm says. Sorry to get off on that little rant, but, it isn't easy. It isn't easy running a channel and trying to maintain your sanity when you got a lot of people that their only purpose is they want to hear themselves talk. They want to put out their little opinion, that they think that you're crap or whatever, and then they don't even stand to defend their comment. They just run, hit and run, drop a comment and run. That's chicken shit, I'm not putting up with chicken shit stuff. Anyways, I know controversy brings a lot of views and everything. I'd rather have non-controversy and lower views and have everybody be happy and contributing positive stuff in here than a bunch of trolls that come up and just try to, like poke a bear. Let's poke this bear. Look at him. He's roaring now. Isn't it exciting? He was sitting there just moping and not doing much. And now look at all the excitement. And really a lot of social media is designed for that. They want a lot of interaction. And one of the ways to do it is catchy titles and controversy and all this other stuff. Well, it's kind of part of the creative process to come up with, a title or a thumbnail or something that might grab somebody. But it's an entirely different thing if you're misleading people with your thing. That the thumbnail and the title you put up on that video has nothing to do at all with what you're talking about. That is clickbait. And you only get me once with stuff like that, I might, if I think it's an error, click on another video like that, but if I see a pattern here, no, I'm sorry. Just like, this is the best knife you can ever buy, and they don't even show it. I am not clicking on that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to click on that video. If it's the best knife in the world and everything, don't be so damn mysterious about it. Don't try to... I can see when I'm being manipulated, and I don't like being manipulated. So there. But anyways, I'm sorry to get off on a little rant here. But, I mean, that's just the way things are going to go on my channel, We're going to keep things civilized in the comments and constructive and everything. And if the troll comes in and they do something, everybody has a bad day when maybe they leave a comment that didn't come off quite right and everything. I'm not just going to automatically, break out the ban hammer. But, when you put down a comment, whether it's going over the edge or not, And if you don't care, then don't be surprised if you don't get to comment anymore on my channel. You know, I mean, that's just the way it is. Really, you want to run a completely open channel and let anybody say whatever they want and do whatever they want, fine, that's up to you. That's your channel. This is my channel, and this is the way I run it. So anyways, I'm running this into the dirt. There you go. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.
You're not mad at me, are you? Huh? There must be some in that backyard you don't like.